Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Julia Halbert, and I work for Early Music Vancouver as their executive assistant and project coordinator, and it's lovely to be here with you all today. Before we begin today's lecture and recital, we of course want to acknowledge that we're hosting this event on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations, and give thanks to them as the traditional caretakers of these lands and all they do for them. It's my honor today to welcome Kyriakos, Kalaitzides, and Nikos Andrikos. Kyriakos is Udist and director of Greek ensemble Encore Day, and Nikos is part of that and a wonderful singer, among many other things. Today their lecture is on secular songs and melodies of the Ottoman Empire from Post-Byzantine musical manuscripts. So quite an interesting topic, and we're really excited to have them here with us. This past weekend, they just performed in 2 EMV concerts in Victoria and Vancouver, focusing on those Byzantine manuscripts. So it was truly delightful. If you don't know about Early Music Vancouver, we're a early music organization that's been a part of the cultural music scene in Vancouver for over 50 years. And we offer many concerts a year, both online and in person, that you can watch from the comfort of your own home. And we're all about spreading awareness and knowledge about early music from all parts of the world. So it's really exciting to do this series. We've been doing the Green College series for about 8 years now. This is our 8th season. And we're delighted to do this outreach series to spread knowledge again about early music from around the world and connect with our local community. So really delighted to be here. Thank you all for coming. It's going to be quite interesting, and I'll pass it off to Kyriakos.
It happens. So, shall I say my poem from the beginning? Okay. I said that it's a great honor being here, and with my colleague, Nikos Andrikos, who is also assistant professor at the University of Ioannina. We are not colleagues only at the Ensemble Hordes, but also we are working at the same university. And today's topic is the revival of Oriental secular music from Post-Byzantine music manuscripts. Some years ago, I had the great honor of Orient Institute Istanbul publishing my book titled Post-Byzantine Music Manuscripts as a source for the Oriental secular music. The manuscripts in question were the subject of my doctoral dissertation, which was written under the supervision of Professor Grigorios Stathis and was approved by the Department of Music Studies of the University of Athens. The book presents the written sources in detail and their importance in the study of modal music, as well as a number of issues relating to repertoire, morphology, modality, composers, and the social context. As already noted Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. It's better? Close to more. Okay. Okay. That's better. Okay, I will try to pay attention to that. Thank you, and I'm sorry for inconvenience. As already noted in my book, the manuscripts of Byzantine music constitute one of the most significant written sources for the secular music of the East. This is evidenced by the volume of the sources, the time span, and the variety of genres covered, the names of composers preserved within them, and the wealth of information and inscriptions they convey. The quantitative evidence is impressive. 15 self-contained manuscripts, 12 fragments, and a large number of individual folios. Altogether, a total of 4,200 pages containing transcribed secular pieces. The manuscripts bear witness to 80 well-known composers, including Greeks, Turks, Iranians, Arabs, Jews, Armenians, as well as to many anonymous composers, with a total of approximately 1,050 works recorded within them. Ottoman Court music, Greek Phanariot songs, Persian art music, as well as a few Greek folk songs are found within the manuscripts, and they also bring to light previously unknown composition and new versions of already known pieces. Their existence gains particular importance from the fact that the rest of the people of the region, with the exception of the Armenians, had not developed a notational system until the early 19th century, or middle 19th century, more precisely, when almost concurrently Arabs, Iranians, and Turks adopted Armenian reformed notation or staff notation, devising extra modulation signs in parallel to represent the intervallic variety of their musical traditions. The chronological boundaries of the source material extend from the early 15th century to 1830, the year of the publication of the first printed collection of secular music. The publication of our work was an important first step which opened a new chapter in wider musicological research for the musical traditions of the East and in various fields. In the notational period of Byzantine music, 10th to 12th centuries, of more than 1,000 years, more than 8,500 codices, roughly so many are known, were written. The Byzantine and post-Byzantine body of secular works mentioned above, written in the developmental stage of Byzantine notation, corresponding to each period, can be found in a number of those codices. Some of them are wholly dedicated to secular music, while others only partly deal with it. And now I'm giving the floor to my colleague Nikos, Andrikos, to say a few words about, first of all, the notational system, the so-called Byzantine parasemantiki.
This one. Okay. At this point, my contribution to this speech deals with the understanding of the function as well as the utilization of the Byzantine notation system, widely known as parasemantiki. So even conventionally, we can distinguish these two different periods, and types of this notation system, the old and the new one. The old characterized because of the minimal stenographic character. So we have schemes and complexes of characters referring to a wider extending melodic phrase. The new one that is launched in 1840 by the three masters, the three teachers, Hormuzos Hartophylax, Gregorios, the first chancellor of the Ecumenical Patriarchate, and Chrysanthos of Maditos. Launched the new system of parasemantiki, and this event could be understood as a turning point of notation's trajectory, let's say. So we have to do with a long-lasting procedure from the old minimal stenographic one to the new analytical detailed one. So the invention of the new parasemantiki is a very crucial event in the history of the notation system. So the event of the invention of the new system has a lot of references to the principles of alignment. So because of that, even philosophically, we have a lot of references to the ancient Greek ancient heritage, as well as to the Western thought, culturally as well as methodologically. So, after the invention of the new parasemantiki, several characters, signs that were used in the old parasemantiki are abolished or changed in terms of their use and function. Also, many others are added. So, any sign character is not corresponding to a specific note, is not something like do, re, mi, a, b, c, etc. So we don't have an absolute reference, I mean to a frequency, to a specific, to an absolute pitch. So if we accept that the corresponding degree of K is La, that we accept to perform on according to 440 hertz, K must be executed from everywhere. So the most important is not the absolute tonic, but the distances between the intervals. So we have degrees, and according to the melodic progression, according to the specific phraseology, according to the modal behavior, specific modal and melodic sonic environments arise. So we have signs of quantity, of quality, and rhythm, and also martyries that indicate the modal environment. We have to do with a modal music genre that is melodically refined in terms of embellishment practices and intervallic attribution. So we have a very wide range, a very wide spectrum of intervals, apart from tone, semitone, and trimitone. So, what about characters of quantity? They give a specific instruction, actually. So, 1 degree, so they can give an instruction such like this, using our voice to go up 1 degree, 2 degrees, etc., to go lower, to go down, and or to stay to the same degree, to repeat the same degree. Okay, yes. What about the characters of quality? Yes, they refer to a plethora of interpretative ornaments. The interpretation of them, depending the texture of the piece, you know, the composition, the area, the era that the composition belonged to, and a lot of other features that have to do with the stylistic profile. So this system, parasemantiki system, could be characterized, could be understood as a mnemotechnical code, if we must remind the Walter Ong's thought. So carries an absolute ideographic character. So we don't read sign to sign, but every sign is the reason, is a stimuli to evoke from our memory a specific phrase. At this point, it's worth saying that this system that was invented to depict vocal sonic environments. So we have to do with a monophonic, voice-centered genre. So, even in the frame of its analytical variant, the new parasemantiki, the inner character of this system remains oral, because the performer must take into account the oral performative dimension of the material that he attempts to perform.
Thank you very much, Nikos. So you have now an idea what the Byzantine notation is, which appeared at middle of 10th century in order to serve the church music, the ecclesiastical music. Coming now back to the topic of secular music on those, in this system, this notation. The vast majority of the transcriptions of secular music composition took place during of old method, before the Reformation, in other words, of 1814. From when we use the system that it's always or everywhere in use in the Orthodox Christian Church. So the majority of the scribes and composers were well versed in the stenography levels appropriate for each type of composition. And since about the 80% of the transcribed material is written in the old method, and the remaining 15% is the new method of notation. So it was very important to commence the task of transcribing from the old method into staff notation in order this important source material to be available for study, performance, annotation, etc. by the International Musicological and Musical Society. That's why I'm giving this title in today's lecture, Giving Breath to the Silent Signs. And as I appointed in the subtitle, The Revival of Oriental Secular Music from Post-Byzantine Music Manuscripts. In other words, the process of transcription and the execution in live performances and recording of this great repertoire. Of course, many methodological problems we faced in the process of transcription, but respecting the time limits, I will not focus on that. I would like to stop here and give you a musical example, the first musical example, and then I continue with my speech. A first sample, very indicative one, is Tasnif Persikon, in other words, Persian Tasnif. Tasnif, literally in Farsi, means song. And the Tasnif this Tasnif is composed by Abdul Qadir Marai. Abdul Qadir Marai was one of the most important figures of we decided to start with Χαίρεστε Κάμπη. So yes, forgive me. So first example, Χαίρεστε Κάμπη. It's number 3 here in the projection. It's coming from a manuscript dated back to 1562, preserved in Iviron Monastery in Montathos, in Greece. The scribe is hero monk. His name was Leontios. What is very interesting in this piece is that the lyrics are in Greek, but there is a kind of couplet, which call it terenum, which is in Farsi. So it's a very good example of coexistence in the manuscript tradition of in the same song, in the same piece, Farsi and Greek, Iranian Persian tradition and Greek tradition. So I'm passing the microphone to Nikos. The piece is quite longer. We play, let's say, the first part. This is the oud. The instrument I play, for those that are not familiar.
Χαίρεστε Χαίρεστε τον καλό Περδικιακά κι αποκοιμήσετε Δάφνη και μυρσίνες είσαι και τα φύλλα σου μυρίζουν και τα φύλλα σου μυρίζουν και χειμών και καλοκαίρι. Δάφνη και μυρσίνες είσαι και τα φύλλα σου μυρίζουν και τα φύλλα σου μυρίζουν και χειμών και καλοκαίρι.
much. Nico, would like to say a few things about a few words about the tradition, as it's continuously not only as a manuscript tradition, but also after 1830 as printed tradition. Exactly. present you now the fourth extant, which is Byzantine Court. Andrikos Theos, that are very famous on the translation, the English God, and the Phanariots Andrikos Theos, long, this version, it's in at least three folds to this day, but each verse is created in a process called alpha in the Greek alphabet. In this version, the 24 couplets are set in music, but basically follow two melodic models. Nikos first, fourteenth, and the melodies are quite easy. The attention to item creates small variation or modes for any display are high. Perhaps this is linked to present the word-based notation. So while the have given only two melodic models and avoid the repetition. The PowerPoint here you can see the first five here of the translation made by Professor Andrikos. This is in circulation. These few samples we presented here give us an idea of the wealth of great common musical heritage of Eastern Mediterranean as it preserved in the post-Byzantine music manuscripts, as well as the amount of work required to give breath to the silent signs. As it clear, our work is giving a new perspective to the study and performance of Oriental secular music. The transcription into staff notation, the publication, and ultimately the live performance at the recording of this largely unknown repertoire brings to life unknown aspects of this great shared musical heritage, both in terms of music practice and in its deeper understanding. But also, it conveys an important message. Music can work in a cohesive manner, especially when it has such a significant historical depth of kinship and interaction. Because despite the wars, disputes, and traditional or incidentally enmities, this music has been the means for personal and collective expression of Iranians, Greeks, Turks, Arabs, Armenians, Jews, and other people of the region for centuries. And we hope that continue to the future too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. Hi everyone, I'm Kyriakos. I'm going to handle the Q&A. I'm an assistant professor of Byzantine and Western medieval art at UBC. I want to thank our speakers. Nice to meet you as well. Sorry, I rushed into last minute, but I was teaching about Byzantine art to 70 students on the other side of campus, so that's why I was late. Thank you, Nico and Kyriakos, for a beautiful, very impressive presentation and performance. Questions from the audience? Yes, if it works out.
Hello, hi. Thank you for the lovely presentation and performances. My question is because you mentioned one Persian poet who was like a musician who was critical in this secular form of art, like music, right? So I'm just wondering, were there other overlaps where other poets known for completely different form of music, Sufism, which is kind of religious and spiritual, and that's kind of also the stark difference, while this is secular, that is kind of spiritual. But were they, like, what can be the other differences, if you are aware, and if there were some overlaps between the two kind of music?
The Persian piece we present here was composed by Abdulkadir Merai. The lyrics are in Farsi of that time, so it needs a specific philological work, let's say, to re-establish the text and translate it into English or Greek or whatever, or even modern Farsi. What is found in the manuscript tradition, Byzantine manuscript tradition, we have, I mean, it's mostly, I didn't find any one single Sufi, let's say, piece. According to the content we know, because a big part is instrumental pieces, another part is vocal pieces, and of course needs more work because it's in Ottoman, it's in Persian. That's good. Just recall that only one from a manuscript dated back on 1818, written by Nikiforos Archidiakon of Antiochia, which is the pray for the invitation to pray, the Allah Akbar, and he wrote down the music as he heard it in Damascus. But then, because he was a priest for Greek Orthodox Church, he explained why he did this, just for musical reasons. I think it's the only one non-Christian religious piece written down. The rest, the majority of the repertoire, it's about love. It's love songs in different ways. You'd like to add something? Nikos?
Another feature that could be contributed to this dialogue, it's the event that the main worship of Sufism, of Mevlevi was constructed in the first decades of 19th century, in the period of the regime of Selim the third Selim, and due to contribution of the very important composer Hamamizadeh Ismail Effendi. So it was a little bit peculiar to find pieces, compositions that belong to this tradition, to this culture, to this religious culture in the Byzantine manuscripts that date back 2 or 3 centuries before. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hello. I'm curious what in the notation is signifying the necessity for a trill or for a vibrato, or is it just known that every note that is sustained should have vibrato?
Because it was about notation, that's why. But anyway, the notation it's a combination of, let's say, instruction about quantitative and quality. Quantitative means it gives the instruction to the voice to go up 1 voice or 2 voices, etc., or go down or stay at the same. So, and about the quality, this is a big discussion because just a notation without the oral tradition doesn't make any sense. And this is the main mistake of the transcriptions made by the so-called Copenhagen School of Copenhagen during the 20th century. They ignore the oral tradition because it's very important how the oral traditions kept the way of expressing the human voice according to the notational system. Would you like Nikos to give an example?
Yes. So the any yes. Okay, yeah. Any notational depiction is something like to write down notes in order to facilitate the evocation of these phrases from our memory. So we before the reading of the score, we must have knowledge about this phraseology. How? Experimentally. Having an experiential relationship with venues, with environments and individuals who carries this culture. So maybe we have a very simple phrase. This is a very specific and very common, stereotypic.
More similar.
Yes. So the chord is ta ra ra la 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 si do re do do si la la. This is the main idea. Okay. We are now. This melody belongs to the structure and the model environment of first Nikos, resemble the makam ushak. So we have a lot of neutral intervals, not semitones and tones. And now, according to the performative conditions, according to the stylistical preferences, according to the texture and the flow of the composition, the embellishment can be changed. So, this is a stereotypic cadential phrase of proto-Sichos, of first mode, with descending character. According to the style of Patriarchate, according to the style of Thessaloniki, according to the style of Athos, Mount Athos, Also, we have very flexible intervals. The second degree, let's say the VU, it's in the middle of A and C. So, in this phrase, in the same performative case, by the same performer, it is possible to detect several different values of this interval. Tan ta ra, tan ta ra da ta la. Here we have an attraction to the cadence. The last one is the lowest one. So, this kind of music, not only the ecclesiastical music, but all of the kinds, all of the genera that belong to the Eastern modal music, characterized by this phenomenon, the phenomenon of intervallic plurality and diversity and flexibility.
Thank you for the talk. On the same, almost a sequel to this question. So the modern transcription that you showed when you sang those two last examples showed no ornaments, just the notes. In addition, would you have more signs, or are you not concerned that in the wrong hands the music would be interpreted by the wrong people who have no oral tradition, would just lose all its beauty? Or is there a way to make sure the modern transcription gives enough information? Do you know what I mean?
As I pointed previously, oral tradition is very important. It's very important. Without the oral tradition, the notation doesn't make any sense. So from the other side, of course, talking for a musical zone, geographical zone that for centuries know any kind of notation, to have written sources from 3, 4, 5 centuries back, it's quite important. So the combination of the two, written sources, transcription of course, and oral tradition guide us to appropriate performance of each piece. And if you noticed in the concert, for instance, of Saturday, we gave a little bit more Persian flavor, let's say, to the Persian pieces, a little bit more Byzantine, Greek Byzantine, to the etc., etc.
Interesting. One last one, if I may, about the red and the black on the manuscript that you showed.
The different colors. Yes.
Is the red indicating something in
Yes, the red signs are the so-called voiceless signs. So that influenced from the other side to the final melodic result. I have to add here, it's very important. You may know that we had a notation also, an alphabetic notation at the ancient Greek time. So when Greek language became what English is nowadays, many people of Mediterranean region used to speak Greek in a bad way, as I speak English, for instance. A great person of 2nd century BC, Aristophanes the Byzantine, just to remind you, Byzantine Empire is the city. Professor, do you agree with me? So Aristophanes from Byzantium, the Byzantine, introduced signs, let's say musical signs, 6 totally, in order to facilitate people to speak correctly the Greek language. And 3 or 4 of them has been transmitted into the Byzantine notation under the same name and the same, let's say, shape. Apostrophos, oxia, varia. And so since music is a language, it's a kind of language, notation help, think about to learn English without oral tradition, just reading. It's impossible. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I have 2 questions. One, is there any similarity between this notation system that we see on the page here and Heppersum notation? And if so...
Easy question. No.
No. And then this is a little bit nerdy, but I was looking at the book of Tachios Effendi transcriptions that you wrote a biography to, and you mentioned a recording session that he was a part of. And I was wondering if any of you if there's record of that actual recording, because I've searched for it and I haven't found it. So I'm wondering if maybe you know about it.
Let's add something for the first question. Heppersum notation was a kind of alphabetical notation, as Kandemiris. They used the Ottoman language alphabet in a way to write down music. And we have such notations also by Kandemir, the great figure of end of 17th century. And also, as I mentioned before, the ancient Greek notation was also an alphabetic notation. So this system is a full notational system with specific signs invented only to be used in the musical practice. And as for the second question, I'm giving the floor to my colleague Nikos.
about Tatios Effendi's transcriptions.
Well, it's mentioned in this book that there's one known recording session that he was at. But I'm wondering if there's any record of that actual recording. Is the Hussein satisfied that he performed?
It's quite new. I mean, Tatios Effendi passed away in 1915. So it's in the frame where both Hambarsum notation and staff notation transcriptions appear in that time Ottoman Empire. So it wasn't so much. So we cannot be sure about which system he used. Maybe he didn't use any of them, because even in Ottoman Empire, in the frame of Ottoman music, a system was used. The main procedure about the didactic of this music, as well as about the performance of this music, remained oral. So, as regards the transmission of this music, the main tool was the procedure of meshk, to stay near to a component of this music, a master of this music, and to learn this music experiential. So, at the same time, it was possible to write down according to a notation system, or to use a notation system. So, as regards the Hambarsum notation, was invented to serve the needs of the religious music of Armenians, in specific the Protestants and the community of Istanbulis that had connections with the monastery of San Lazzaro, and after that disseminated generally, and became very popular. As my colleague Kyriakos said, it was an alphabetic system. So every sign refers to a specific note. I'm not sure if I could cover here.
Somewhat different question. What is the situation of the ecumenical patriarchs and the Greek Church in Turkey today?
I don't think so that we are able to give an answer to you. I mean, it's not our expertise. Even we have relationship with, especially Nikos, my colleague Nikos, who served as a Cantor assistant for 5 years. 5 years. It is strange. It is strange. It is strange. This is the more diplomatic answer I can give you. Okay, I will. Okay, I will. I think our friend did this specific question because we had the chat at the concert. It is made by the most, let's say, famous woodmaker of Ottoman Empire. His name was Manolis Venios, originated from okay, I will remind a Greek island from Cyclades. Folegandros. Okay, I get it. Folegandros, from Folegandros Island. It is, let's say, it was the Stradivarius of wood, let's say. And this wood has been made on 1907. It's 115 years old. And it's beautiful. Beautiful sound. Yes, please.
Tell us a few things, if you can, about the spaces where such music pieces could be performed, and if there was a variation in terms of space. Do we know anything about that?
Okay. Before give the microphone to Nikos, because he did deep research for Smyrna, and most currently from Constantinople. I have to tell you the places where the manuscripts has been written. That is very important. It's a nice geography of the area. Mount Athos seems to be the most important place at the beginning. I mean, for 14, 15, 16 centuries, talking about secular music, not about ecclesiastical music. That is different deal. For secular music, for 14 to 16 centuries, the most important center, let's say, of transcribing secular music, strangely, was the monastic peninsula with 20 monasteries of Mount Athos in North Greece. From late 17th and especially for 18th and 19th century, absolutely was Constantinople and Bucharest and Iași, because as two half-independent, let's say, principalities, the Moldavia and Wallachia, attract many Greeks to move there. And it was two also very important centers for the art and letters and arts and culture, etc. But we have also codices written in different other places, like Sinai Monastery, like few exceptions. Mainly, this is what I told. And Nikos?
Yes, at this point I think it's worth saying that we have different places about not only the existence of this material, but also about the performance of this music. So, apart from the Ottoman Court, we have different places of performance of this kind of music. So, speaking about classical, court, urban, secular Ottoman music, we have to do with a lot of different variants of music. It's not one thing. So we have the music of the court that, yes, passed a lot of different kinds in terms of style, chronically, historically. So, except of this, we have the worship of Islam culture, not only of the Orthodox Islam music, okay, Muslim music, but we have the communities of Mevlevi or Alevi dervishes who they had specific places of worship and a very wide repertoire and practices that relates to the worship. Except of them, we have the music of that relates to the entertainment. Let's say. So we have meyhanes, cafehanes, tavernas in Constantinople, in Istanbul, specific in the districts of Galata, of Kumkapı. So the contribution of non-Muslims to these practices was very, very important. So in these places, in these environments, we have the actions of Armenians, Greeks, or Jewish musicians. They play folk, popular music in the frame of the urban Istanbul. That is very important. In Istanbul, we don't have only eponymous literally art music. We have also popular music for entertainment. So among the musicians, we can find Romas. Roma, Roma.
Because we're talking about the music genre, not from the content of the manuscript.
Yes. But if we focus about the performance of this kind of music that comes from manuscripts, the performance depends on the texture and the function of this compositions. So according to this, the venues, the places can be changed.
Second African-American woman to be a curator at the end. So she's very important. And hopefully we will see you there. Thank you a lot. And thanks, Nikos.
Thanks a lot.